There you go. Okay, that seems to be working on my end. Oh lord, this game. This is club continue launch. It's messy, nasty. I hate it. Like it's just it's so close to working perfectly, but so far off. First world problems exposed. No worries. The game's loading at the moment. It's not gonna take forever. It's just I started the stream just so you weren't waiting forever. Yeah, no worries. No worries. I'll might leave my stream running with power going. Um, if I for sure am probably at work by 7:30 or 8. I might be at work within the next hour, but I'll be back. But I want this is like a standalone video anyway. This is going to be like a smaller video. So like it'll be easy to go back and watch without having to scrub through it. Outside of this opening part, obviously. But I'm going to go straight into the training range to show, just talk in general what I mean about coverage, and like I'm gonna point and show what I mean and where I was saying. Like that's what I said day one of talking about cover, because there's so much and I don't want to flood it. Even in a video, yes, just because you can talk for forever doesn't mean you should. I want to give it out in chunks so you can layer it. Again, I disassemble disassemble it so you can see all the parts and then you can put it together yourself. I'm just gonna break it down in front of you. Ugh. I want that so badly. They know what you want. Right. Okay, okay. All right. Sorry about that. I had to deal with something. All right. Welcome, guys, to my stream. I am Dr.Shmooktss. Today, we're going to be talking about cover and coverage. Um, I say that because I mean that I think covers has several meanings. So I'm using it in terms of just the descriptor of the cover, just having good coverage, in general. Um, and so with that, I'm gonna go pop into, let's see, let's pop into my right, tripping practice room. I'm so used to Overwatch still, kind of like where, again, it's not even that it's in a bad spot. I it's just my instincts for some reason makes me look elsewhere for the practice range. It's all good though. All right, so now that we're here, cover. Now, we all mo many of us may know what that word means in general. Take cover. You know what I mean? If that's something you want to stand behind cover. Right. Okay. Well, not everyone cover. Uh, the situation, like always, can change within a heartbeat. The meaning, the type of cover you need can change in a heartbeat. Uh, it's not as complex as it can sound. It's just, you know, uh, a lot can happen in a second, especially with animation, you know, with movement. Um, so that being said, if I'm support and I want cover, one thing I want to think about is I need to be able to see my team and heal them while taking cover. So if that's if this is my team and I want to take cover, I honestly this is a decent spot to where this is. I mean, this is honestly like for I would never stand here. This is not good cover because you can get snuck up on them from behind. But assuming everything's assuming everything behind me is like secured. Let's say if you know all your enemies is only on this plane, and you want to stand here, you can, but you want to keep an eye out for that bridge,
Your attention.
and we want to make sure there's no one sneaking up on you or flying in over you to flank around, going around behind you. But that being said, you want to take cover to where you can see your teammates. But honestly, if I'm standing here, like this is cover from them. But in order for me to really see my teammates and heal them and help them, I kind of gotta stand here, which you may not think it, but from the other side, you're in the open. So this is not really good cover. Yes, you're hidden and protected, but like only that's only how it appears. If this for some reason if this is where we're fighting, where I would stand. Let's see. You're running out here. Honestly, while this is technically in the open, in this spot, if that's where you're fighting, if the enemies are over there, you want to stand here. Honestly, you want to be there. You want to be able to. Hang on. You know what? In fact, I should probably be a healer. If you want to be a healer, you should be here. You know what I mean? So
Here come the bad guy. Before we had powers,
you can heal your teammates. You
that
they can't
bond
see
is
you.
unbreakable.
Now, honestly, it is powerful as a support to be able to be in a position where you can safely heal your teammates while on the cover and easily find an angle if need be to attack an enemy. Let's see here. Honestly, so far here, I don't. Well, let's see. It would be hard for you by yourself to get high ground on this side by yourself, but ideally, it's better if supports can find high ground. But okay, let's act like this is a map here. So if we're running out here and I got a tank and everything, I'm gonna be healing them here. You know what I mean? I am still thinking I'm still using this wall as my cover from anything attacking over on this side. You know what I mean? You still want to watch for anything approaching this side, and then the moment anything approaches here, you go into here. Let's see here. Can I get an angle on them from here? No. But it's so hard because there's no people here. So like, there's so many different scenarios. Okay, this is just about support right at the moment. Because ideally, if you have a full team, if you have a tank, and let's say you have two tanks, one tank should be, and this is what I don't see enough of, where it sucks because people got to be willing to work together. But realistically, if you have two tanks, either come to an agreement on who's going to be on the front line, or understand if you're both neutral. Understand which tank has a better opportunity on the front line and which tank would be more useful in the back line. Just because you're back line doesn't mean you're not important or that you're going to be doing nothing. In fact, you may have more action in the back line than the front line because it's up to you to help your supports when they're being dove. Which is why when supports don't stand in cover and don't stand near the team, and this is how a game can collapse so fast on itself. You know what I mean? It's a domino effect, literally. It gets amplified by the next person's bad move. But ideally, if I have a tank that's there for me, you know what I mean? So even if you have a tank that's going to protect you, you still should be taking cover or have coverage in your mind. This is technically like I'm in the open, but like I would say I'm taking cover in the fact that I'm taking cover from the enemies attacking me. But the moment there's someone here, if my tank's here, I'm gonna stand behind him. Hopefully, I'll work with you. Stand behind them, use them as a meat shield, help them heal them, and help them kill the person. If they're not, if you can tell your tank can't. Honestly, no. Honestly, I was gonna say you should like sneak ahead. It depends. If you're close to overtime or the match is like being stalled, technically your job from spawn to point is to make it to the point where the tank is at to help him. Now you don't want to abandon your tank. So ideally, if let's say seize my tank, in fact, hey, let's do this. Oh, sorry, Luna. Okay, let's see here. Groot, let's go with Groot. Hey, Groot. So that's he's an enemy, obviously, but let's say he's my tank. I'm going to use him as a shield to take care of anything behind. He's either going to be protecting me or blocking me. Now, honestly,
get ready. Here come the bad guys.
Groot is like a midline tank. He can be backline, but the issue with a Groot being backline is you're cutting your healers off from your own team. People don't think about that, and it's easy to not think about. But Groot, your walls are a massive double-edged sword if not used properly or not used with preparation. Like if your team's not expecting a wall, and someone goes out to dive, you can be the reason why there was a turnover. And sometimes I do if it's bad enough, but I really try not to call them out because it's such a crushing thing to hear that, and to have that realization. Oh shit, how many times have I messed up? When you think about it, hindsight. But don't let that ruin your game. But that's honestly why if you're Groot and using your walls as a shield, honestly, you should use them 1 to 2 at a time. Now you can if you have a whole plan, yeah, do what you want with it. But like even then, once they're down, they recharge. You want to put one wall down for cover until I don't think you can. If you can, I think you can see your wall's health. When it's about half health, put up another one, either right behind it or next to it to move to that. They'll either change what they're shooting at, not shoot at all. The other one might survive still. But it allows your support a chance to heal the team, heal the team while having cover, and no one's getting cut off. And it gives your dives more time to fall back before you put up your second shield, or get healed before that second shield goes. It's all about saving time. It's just timing becomes so perfect when you do these things. It with these strats it can be so easy to run what might feel like a perfect game. Honestly, it's just they got to be talked about. Again, I'm not even. It's like, well, geez, people gotta learn stuff. Nothing I'm teaching. I understand, yes, because you don't want. If somehow my words could magically guarantee people being grandmasters, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but like it wouldn't be as fun because like honestly no, I don't. It'd be interesting. I wouldn't have guilt. I was gonna say I wouldn't have any guilt if somehow I'm caused there to be more grandmasters. Now there's a saturation. If anything, that would mean that just shows how inflated the ranked was. You know what I mean? There's people who are down in ranks that don't belong down there and up. And
get ready. Here come the bad guys.
I can go on. This is passion. It's not meant to be rambling. It's just passion. Anyway, so back to coverage. So honestly, realistically, this is kind of an open area, and this I think it's designed that way. So let's go over here. Hopefully, there's an area that's more like it's open too. Oh, this is fine. Hang on, that's these. Because this is so open and sprawling. Like most maps are built. I mean, it's decorative and it's big and wide, but it's still a very wide rectangle or tunnel. You know what I mean? You can go. There is a direct. There is definitely a front. There is like a forward and a backwards. You know what I mean? For depending what side you're on. So it's hard to like talk like there's a back line or a front line. But let's imagine. Okay, you know what? Let's say
Something
this is a
doesn't feel
capture
right
point,
here.
right? Let's say this is a capture point. If my team's in there, whoever it are, I'm gonna be standing here. Now, yeah, again, you be aware, you have front line cover. You don't have back line cover. You know what I mean? You have cover here, so at least anyone in there, you know, they're not outright going to be sniping you right away. But you'll very quickly find yourself surrounded probably by somebody. So if you choose to be here, this is kind of my bad spot too, honestly. Actually, let's see here.
Get ready. Here come the bad guys.
Oh, let's see. If you're pushing into here, again, I have no idea what angle we come in from, and that's why it's kind of hard to like make up. See, this would be hard to heal in. I think so. I would say in this situation, again, still have cover for the inside. You don't want them all shooting at you. In fact, because you have no cover on the outside, all that means is you got to have this more spatial awareness. So this is cover for anyone inside there shooting at you. And tell you in there, you know, if someone's behind you, let's say you know it's clear here, or at least nothing threatening in there. You can like you know it's got some blockage, but like the problem with standing here is your head's exposed. The only part of your body is your head, so it makes it easier to headshot yourself, to get headshot. Um, but so realistically, let's say I'm getting killed by a Spider-Man. Actually, you know what? So it'd be risky, and let's if you think you're maneuverable, honestly, again, it depends on how your enemy's playing. But if you get dove here by Spider-Man, you might be safer going in here to face him, assuming the enemy's distracted enough, or you have enough clearing here to where basically you at least moving out is his danger. You know, at that moment, you know the person focused on you is Spider-Man. But you never want your back turned to the enemy. It would be a bad spot. This would be a very annoying spot to defend from how it's set up. Well, without a team, again, if you have a tank that's by your side and shielding you, again, you're going to take some damage. You can't be afraid of any damage. But again, this is something. Again, some cover is better than no cover. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think if I was in a sport this map. Plus, it's very clear that this whole thing breaks. So at some point, this would be an open top, so easier to see inside. So the cover won't last forever, but this will. I don't know how soon this will break, if at all. But this will always be covered. Even, in fact, when this all breaks, this will be good cover. But so yeah, what I was gonna say is with support, you want to make sure you're taking cover from an angle where you can see your teammate from. You want to have cover. You want to have cover, but also not too far back. So this is probably the furthest back I'd ever be. Now, I would believe that if I got dove, if you let them know soon enough, which is the moment they are diving you should be pinging for help. In fact, that's why I need help on my wheel. I can ping, but it's obviously way faster to click the button to ask for help, since it's the same thing anyway. You know what I mean? You're pinging because you want help. So now, if you can ping, it both lets your teammates know who specifically is diving you, to know what they're going to deal with, while it also helps pinpoint specifically where you're having a problem. So again, it is still important to again. So my thing is this: let's say if you're being dove, I guess my point is if you're being dove and you're trying to ping Spider-Man but you miss, that's fine. So long as you ping in a general area, then immediately it would save you more time to hit the I need help button at that point. And then it's on your team if they don't help you when that happens. Um, oh goodness. Oh goodness, it's on your team though if they, they don't come back to help you. So that being said, if I ping, if Spider-Man jumped there,
Attack right here.
honestly, I should be fine. I should be fine enough to like survive enough to where again, Thor, well, Thor, the Thing, Hulk, anyone who could jump literally to my rescue should be able to make that jump there without too much trouble, if any. Um, so this is where this is. So in the two things to think about when taking when you are taking cover as support is make sure you are in a position that maintains line of sight of your team. Now again, I'll get to them because obviously they gotta be your line of sight too. It's not on you, but for you, you want to make sure that you intuitively know that whether your team is taking cover or not, you are always taking an angle that gives you the most cover while allowing you still to see your teammates to heal them. Because if you take cover behind a pillar, so much so that your team you can't see them to heal them, then then they die. Or even if they don't die before you, if you take cover too deep, it backfires. It's no longer cover. You're basically in a room by yourself. You're in an area by yourself with no one to help you or see you, and that's when you get overdove. So that's where some people, and I feel bad because that's where some people will misunderstand that instruction if I don't say it specifically enough, and I feel bad because I see people, they start taking cover, but they're taking cover in bad locations and getting dove, and I can't help them at all. And now it's almost worse. It's worse. It is worse because now you're behind a wall. So not only can't you heal me, but our other healer can't heal you. Anyway, so that's why there's a right way and a wrong way. You know what I mean? For most things in life, if you're those are the two things for support. So let me get so standing in line of sight behind cover. Okay, yeah. Okay, the next, well, this is covered. Cause see, there's so much. I like to talk about the whole problem. Like what I want to lead with is the next thing I'll support would work on. Like once the support has covered down, the next thing they want to work on is their kit use, and specifically your ult use. Well, I guess your kit use in general, including your ult. You want to make sure because while yes, it is okay to use your ult to save yourself here and there, that shouldn't be what you depend on. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be sweating and like you when you notice yourself looking at your ult, when you know, man, I'm being dove. So the moment you catch yourself looking for your ult as your go-to, like, man, I need my ult so I can save myself. That means that's you're generally not playing using your ult properly because that means you have a predisposition in your mind. It's your preset in your mind to hold back on your ult at all, and or that means you use it the moment you get it, and so you don't get any real value out of it. Now it is one thing to my last match. I ended up using my ult to save myself because I had to take I had one take left on the point, and no, I had one take left, like coming back to the point, and I was the only one on point. So I popped my ult so that when the tank got to the point, he would have a healer there. But I did it to save time and to give him a chance to get healed. But and then, that's basically it's a form of a counter. I would say it's a form of a counter because what the best way to use an ult, a support ult, is as a counter. That and the worst thing you can do on a team without planning, especially, is use two support ults at once. And not all supports can't combo, but you don't want to use an invisible woman ult at the same time as a dagger ult because there's no need for that. Now, okay, the only time unless there's an extreme damage coming in. Now, if there's like a giga buffed Iron Man and you hear a pulse bomb, you can see if your dagger invisible woman ult would survive, but most times that problem can be solved. Again, this is back to where I'm talking about using your kit, saving your kit better. is awareness. Even if you don't know where the Iron Man is, you look around, and the moment you see the exclamation, again, it's kind of hard for supports, but like this is why headphones are important. If you hear him from a direction, run the opposite direction. If you know you're not someone who could take it on anyway, you know what I mean. The moment you hear him ult, wherever you're at, you shouldn't be sticking around. You want to do your best to quickly get a understanding of where that ult's coming from, so you can run the opposite direction of it, and that so that's it. So that's like the main thing for support cover. The next thing I want to talk about again, I could spend all day on this. Is more, I'm kind of short of time because I gotta work soon. That's why I do this is like a summary video of what I'm going to elaborate more in the future of the stuff I'm talking about to work on right now. But it's DPS. Now I don't have to be DPS show, but I'm just going to be one just to fit the part. But if you're DPS, it's taking cover. Wait, in fact, if you're DPS and you also should be taking cover. You should never be, again, you should
People
not
like
be in the
Doom
open. If I'm her,
people like us have to put things back together.
She can
I spy
run
some
and
bad
jump. So
guys.
if that's the
Eyes on
point,
this location.
well, let's see. That's where we're coming from. You probably
Eyes
came
on
from
this
there.
location.
So if we came from over here and the team's pushing there, honestly, actually, if I'm Widow, I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be right here. Please, this is cover. They can't do any direct shots. It's hard to see. You're concealed a little bit. And let's go. Let's see where this go. Okay, you got a little bit. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know this map that well, so like I don't know where the nearest health pack is, if there are any here. But like real theoretically, okay, bet. Here's for me, I'm a sniper. Bet. Escape plan set. So if I need to fall back, if I'm, okay, I'm in here. Okay, bet. Okay, so I'm over here, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm over popping shots and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I get, Spider-Man, shoot, Spider-Man. Okay. Okay, the CV comes through. If he does or doesn't matter. I'm okay. I'm gonna go up. Go up here. Like, and you can. Now I gotta work on my hip fire, so I personally wouldn't do this, especially if it's Spider-Man. I would just keep running. You know what I mean? You want to just. Actually, this is right back where I was. That's basically. You're right back at it. Now I wouldn't stay here. I would probably go down here. You know what I mean, you're in the open but concealed. Now again, once they find you, you wanna skedat, get back to wherever you were or to a new spot of hiding.
I spy some bad guys.
If you're a sniper, if you stand far enough back on a high space, you have cover. You're harder to see. You can see heads before, because of your height, because of the height and angle and all that stuff. You can see their heads while they can't see you as well, if at all, just because of the angles of things. That's the advantage of high ground. But no matter what, remember how I said a support would be standing there. No matter what, I'm still want to stay in a spot where, again, if I'm here, again, I'm hard to hit. But if I need healing, I can just come here. I can jump down here. You know what I mean? If you're a sniper though, you just want to get it in the open to where your support can see you, heal you hopefully a little bit, and then otherwise you gotta be looking for your own health packs. Not the whole time, but like don't just depend on your support, cause that just stresses them out and causes them to have to leave their position and cover to heal you. Honestly, if you're able to take good enough cover, you'll very rarely move from it. You're just here, popping off shots, getting some heals. Going back to it, getting shot, boom, boom, boom. I mean, if I'm, let's say someone else that's so obvious. Let's be like Panther. You're a dive. Panther. Just because you're a dive doesn't mean you shouldn't use cover. They shouldn't see you coming. You know what I mean? You take the long, literally take the long way around. You know what I mean? You don't want them seeing you. You wanna, okay, you know what I mean? You're in here, you're in here, you're in here, getting out. Maybe, you know, maybe give him the loop, go around the loop. But you wanna like, but yeah, don't just run in here. Don't be like this. Don't do this. Just because you can't, I mean you should. You wanna, what you wanna do is be like, okay, we're gonna come in. We're like, okay, you're like, you're coming in. Like, okay, I see my target. I see my target. Okay, so I'm gonna go this way. Yeah, you know what I mean? Go this way. I'm gonna come in. Okay, so I know that if they're around this area, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come in at his blind side. And, But again, you want to be a spot where your support can see you, and then not just your support. Technically, you want to be a spot where your whole team can see you, so you all can help each other out. Just because you can't go deep doesn't mean you should, and just because you are doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean you have to be in a location where your teammate can't help you. I'm not saying restrict stuff all the time. Again, in fact, my thing is this: if people would have a general grasp of the basics already, then once in a while or randomly in the match, you can cut back some. You know, you can willingly or knowingly do something, you know, not ideal to see if that works out for that one moment. There may be a moment where shit, okay, you know you're a really good panther or whatever, and there's squishies on point or just a target not being hit, but let's say that there's one target in there, but you know you can't take on the whole team, but you're pretty sure you can do some serious damage and get out without yourself dying, to give your tank or whoever else is trying to kill them more of a chance to kill them and finish them off. Again, help people finish things off. But that's also where, again, cover, where you don't want to see someone coming in. You don't want them seeing you come in to help your teammate, because they may prepare for it. They may get healed. They may fall back. Now, again, it's a good thing they fall. Like, there's times where it does help. If I'm a DPS and I see my support being dove, I'm running headstrong there. I'm running full force there. And you know what? If the person that I'm coming to help with runs away, that's obviously a good thing. And worst case scenario, if they don't, I'm there to fight and help my support. Now that comes down to whether they're going to help you by healing you or help you kill them. But if your support ditches you, assuming they're not low health, that just means that's just not being team aware. That's just a lack of team awareness, honestly. But it's like a very common thing that's happening right now that I'm trying to help minimize. And so then the last like introduction to cover I'm gonna talk about is tanking. Again, you're a tank. Yes, you're meant to take a lot of damage and you're meant to sustain it, but it's better. That doesn't mean you should take all the damage, because again, the more damage you take, the more your heals have to heal you. And while you're like, well, yeah, that's your job. Well, okay, some of the healing that you're asking for physically cannot be done with how the game is built. Um, okay. So, um, but back to what I was saying with tanking. Um, you want to take, like, even at a store, I sometimes like, I don't call it cover, it is cover, but like with Thor, you'll see me. I'll wait, you know, as Thor. I'll rush in. You know what I mean? I'll rush into a situation, but the moment shoot, there's an Emma there. I'm falling back. You know, I'm making get in my space. Not because I'm scared, but because, like, you know, okay, I'm gonna use this as like cover to to like cut her off to like maybe she'll follow me and leave her team, and I'll go back in there and I can fuck up their team. And they sometimes some people don't stay focused. They may run off and chase something else to kill them. They may stay on your ass, but they're still cut off from your team. They may someone else on your team may start attacking them and disrupt them and finish them off. There's there can be tactical reasons to taking cover, and how you use the cover, what sort of cover you're using. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not just taking cover. Again, that moment when I'm luring an imma towards myself, I'm doing that. So again, as I said, I'm luring her from her team, while also there's more than one way to beat a team. You know what I mean? There's more than you don't. There's more than one way to win. A dive's job, number one job, is not to kill you. A dive's number one job, depending who if you're a support, a dive's number one job is to get you to stop healing your team. Whether it's because you're dead, you're running away, or too distracted by me as the dive to worry about your team. So the longer you put up with that struggle, again, unless you're again we're in a new, even ignoring your team being able to sustain by themselves, the longer you're being occupied, the less healing you can do at that moment when it's needed. You know what I mean? Bathroom. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So tank cover. Off trade air dog, my dog. I know it's on my cover, but I says it's the heals. If you're getting healed, if you're being dove as a healer, yeah. So it makes them say if you're being dove as a healer, you want to Oh, that's what it was. I said remember train of thought. So if you're a tank, the ways you take cover is, or not ways, but well, again, every tank is different. That's why I said this is day one, because there's so many strats. Taking cover does mean so many different things because of how different each hero is. The cover Thor uses will almost never be the same cover as Venom's. So cover for Thor is stand behind the nearest wall. You know what I mean? Stand or get near the nearest wall or head cover or a duck. Now I use this emote. Now obviously I can't attack while I do it, but you know what I mean. If I want to duck, I use that to like stay low. If I'm Venom, and you can use a door obviously, but like Venom cover is the cover of darkness. I mean, you're up here, they can't see you as well. You don't attack till you're ready. Then once you're ready, you go down there, you're in there. The only time Venom needs cover is when is if he's low and looking for heals. Like, oh shoot, I don't got no healer. Shoot. You know what I mean? Yeah, shoot, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay behind cover, but near the point, so that I can always get back. But now Venom, you can be further away. Venom again. You can be like over here, like okay, I'm gonna wait here for heals. Okay, I got heals. Bet now I can go back to the point. But alright guys, thank you guys. I'm sorry for the short video. I'm gonna have it more detailed later on when I get back on. I just gotta get ready to go to work shortly. Thank you guys for joining. This has been Dr.Shmooktss, and I will see you next time.